analyst, your point, Savanthi, is it's kind of brutal, but the airlines themselves are going to get through this, Savi. I worry about employees. I worry about people losing their jobs. But the airlines can weather this, in your view, as long as there isn't a really severe second wave, as long as this slow comeback with passengers continues, they're going to survive.
That's correct. I mean, coming into this, the airlines were in a strong position. Most of the U.S. airlines had strong balance sheets, and you can't discount the fact that the first payroll support program and the loan program has been a great support for the industry. So it's going to be painful. I think any hope of cash break even by the end of the year is pretty much going away, given what we've seen from the level of recovery. Most likely, it's going to take until probably middle of next year to get to that cash break-even level. What the payroll support program would do is help keep people employed. But again, or maybe not have to tap into some of the debt that the airlines have raised. But at the end of the day, I think the airlines will survive this. It's a matter of what would their balance sheets look like once we get to that full recovery.
Yeah, balance sheets and number of employees that are still around at the end of that. The prospect for business travel, Sammy, I don't know what that is because of Zoom meetings and such. For leisure, it seems like that's kind of inelastic. People are going to want to travel. You can't drive. It's too harrowing. So would you focus on the airlines that have a strong presence in just leisure or not as much exposure to business?
In the near term, that's definitely how we think about the space. The airlines, and every airline is going to go after the leisure passenger, but some airlines, the product and the cost structure is better suited to support leisure passengers. But business demand will come back. It's just going to take longer. Our surveys show maybe 20% of business demand back by the end of this year, and going up to maybe 40-50% by middle of next year and getting to 80% by the end of next year. Everything depends on, is there a vaccine? Are there good therapeutics? I think business demand will eventually come back. It's just going to take longer. So in the near term, I think the airlines that have a cost structure to support leisure demand will do better.
Hey, Savi, to the extent that there's a piecemeal approach to stimulus and there's a piecemeal approach to saving or bailing out, rescuing the airlines, how much more scrutiny do you think there'll be on a deal itself, and whether you think that the government will try to extract something more effectively for the taxpayers than they would have had it been part of a larger stimulus program?
I think there's a sense of urgency because the longer you go, some airlines are holding off on furloughs. They've announced the furloughs, but they haven't executed them yet, because once you start the furlough process, it's really hard to reverse it. So I think there's a time-sensitive urgency here. So I don't think if something is passed that there will be any further kind of requirements than what was there in the original, which, again, there are some warrants to hopefully get some return for taxpayers. And restrictions on laying off individuals, but also, in cutting service to different regions. So I don't think that there will be much change just due to the urgency of getting something done and in place before it's too late.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.